Hello, I'm David Hunt, CEO and founder of Hyperion Executive Search. And for a change, I don't want to talk about climate tech and I don't want to talk about talent. I'm going to talk to you today about coffee, which is one of my personal favorite topics. But that's our sort of 10th anniversary. You may have seen we've been sharing some stories of our clients and sharing some stories around the team that work with Hyperion. We also wanted to share some stories around some of the partners that we're delighted to work with. And with that in mind, I'd like to introduce very quickly to Hannah Nunn, who's the CEO and founder of a social enterprise called Kickstart Coffee. Hannah, welcome.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me.
So no, it's good to share your story. So one of the things that if you're a client of Hyperion or you've been placed in a role by Hyperion, you'll be familiar with Kickstart Coffee because everybody gets a welcome gift from Kickstart. It's a way to for us to say thanks and a way for them to enjoy the great coffee. But behind that, clearly there's an important bit of work that Hannah and her team do as a social enterprise. So Hannah, perhaps you can just share a little bit about Kickstart Coffee and how and why you created it first and foremost, and most importantly, what it is that's the impact of people like us and others buying this coffee.
Yeah, amazing. So we support a school education project in Uganda. So as you fly into Uganda, there's Entebbe, and that's where our school is located. Roll back about 22 years ago, I visited Uganda as a student nurse. So I'm actually a pediatric nurse by trade. And I started to get involved in the school probably about 18 years ago. So the school serves a local population of single mums and grandparents. And about 5 years ago, we realized that we needed funding, basically. I used to bring home arts and crafts, sell them, do whatever I can to raise money. But it reached a point of going, if we really want to do this, we need to think differently and we need to generate income. So there were a few options. Number one, you go down the child sponsorship route, which is very common in East Africa, but it was something that really I struggle with that. I kind of feel that children should go to school freely, like our children go to school. And then the other thought was set up a company, which I had no experience whatsoever. Um, Phil, my husband, has companies, but I never thought I could do what he does. And then I saw a bag of coffee in a craft market, and just something in me just went, you should set up a coffee company. Uganda grows the most beautiful coffee, specialty grade, and people like coffee. And it's a product that you would buy over and over. So, for example, a bag or an apron you'll buy once, where a bag of coffee I thought would generate this sustainable income. So that's what we did, really. We brought over our first bags of coffee and started selling online to consumers at home, but more importantly, actually businesses. So to get businesses involved with the sustainability ESG kind of goal. And the impact has been that pre-coffee, we had 78 children at the school, and we've now got 400 fully paid through coffee. We're employing 32 members of staff. Pre-coffee, there were no salaries. The teachers slept in their classrooms. Now they have their own homes and they're living sustainable lives. So coffee has completely transformed this whole community.
So it's great that you're supporting the school, but where do you actually get the coffee from, Hannah?
So Uganda is high altitude, so it grows beautiful Arabica coffee. Robusta coffee grows everywhere in Uganda, so that's what gives you kind of the caffeine kick in a coffee. But the Arabica is what is the special kind of specialty grade. So Mount Elgon, which is near on the Kenyan border, is where we directly source the coffee from, and we support about 6,000 households on the mountain, and they'll bring their coffee down, weigh it, and it's all sorted into grades, and then we bring it on a ship and it's roasted with our roasting partner Lincoln and York. So buying direct is so important because it means that we're supporting two communities in Uganda. So buying the coffee and then pulling the profits all the way back to the school that we support.
Right. So again, it's that double impact in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we grow, I would love to see a school being popped up on Elgon. So we'll see in the future if we can make that happen.
It's such an amazing thing. Obviously, most of the people we work with at Hyperion are startups, including Phil, of course, who take the leap to build companies. But that's and that's great in and of itself. But I think social enterprises are much underrated because the work is just as hard. But obviously, the impacts in many ways are certainly much more immediate. And it's great when you share with us the stories of some of the impacts on a day-to-day basis about the salaries paid, about the sort of the sporting events. Recently, a few posts about sort of the teams in the schools now making some real great headway and enjoying themselves doing that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean the impact is academic. So pre-coffee, we were getting about a 40% pass rate at primary exams. We're now on 100%, which is just unbelievable. Which means that once they pass their primary exams, we can get them to secondary school, and that's where the children's lives really change. So without education, these children really are looking at probably minimal jobs, maybe earning £1-2 a day. Their lives wouldn't be transformed and changed, but education changes everything. It gives them hope. It also kind of breaks that cycle of poverty. And not just from an academic, but sport. They wouldn't be, in football teams or winning trophies in handball. It's just so incredible. The other thing is just the good news stories about supporting the local community. So the eco stoves that we do through the coffee that you buy. So it means that these mums get these stoves 80% less firewood they have to pay for, and it's smokeless, and it's 80% carbon footprint. I mean, it's just that kind of thing that we can make a difference through selling the coffee is kind of our goal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's amazing to see, and all of the team. It generally does motivate us to know that you're one of the organisations that we support, and we can very tangibly quickly see where the impact of our hard work is. Now, I'm not pretending that we don't all go to work for a salary, but it's much more impactful when we can start to see the work that you and others are doing. I think the other thing perhaps is important to say, by the way, because I grew up, my stepdad's Italian, as of when I was about 10 years old, so I know my way around a good espresso, and the coffee is fantastic, and we obviously use it in the office, and I use it at home, and again, as I say, we share with clients. Perhaps again, so this is about how people can engage with social enterprises and why we encourage them to do so, whatever they to fit in with the impact of whatever their ideas or goals are. But how can people get involved with Kickstart Coffee? Of course, we can share the website, but what's the sort of paths that either individually or as businesses people can engage and contribute to the efforts that you and the team are making?
Well, I think the number one thing is to choose our coffee. That most companies in the UK provide coffee now for their staff, whether that's free issue or in cafes through catering companies. But actually, you can choose our coffee, and we can onboard with that catering company. It is a hard process, but we're now onboarding with our second catering company, which means we can get out to more businesses. The first thing really is to say that the coffee is really, really good quality. So usually you've got to be careful what you say, but when you look at a charity, you kind of go, is the quality going to be good? You're giving to a good cause, but maybe not getting the best product. We kind of flip it the other way. So our coffee is really high grade quality because I've got people who come to me and go, that's the best coffee I've ever had. I have people going, but I'm a coffee connoisseur, and I'm like, that's fine. Try the coffee. You'll love it. But it's a bit like wine, everyone's got their own opinion, which is great. I love feedback. So, and we develop different blends from feedback. So it works, it's really good. So really to choose our coffee. And what you get from that is not just great coffee, but you see your true impact. So every month we write impact reports for companies that choose our coffee to say how many teachers they funded, or how many children through secondary, or supporting girls through period poverty. We've got a group of 70 girls now that we fund every month. We're looking at a boys project, so looking at how we can support kind of the teenage boys in the community through kind of mental health and hygiene, which is really kind of vital as well. So there's so many ways to get involved, but also to steer how your passion is. So There may be a company that says, actually, Hannah, we want to focus on health. And I'll be like, great, well, every child needs a toothbrush. um, or there might be a company that say, actually, we want to focus on kind of an eco element. And I'm like, perfect, eco stoves like yourself. So there's always going to be, we can steer the impact to kind of where your heart is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that draws people in, but it makes it real. And then I will also say, come to Uganda and see it. Because I think it's a true impact that if you stepped off the plane and went to the school, you would just kind of be like, okay, yeah, I get this. I understand why coffee is so important.
Yeah, I would love to do that at some point. But you do a fantastic job of sharing the impact, so that me and the team feel truly motivated, and we get great feedback from our clients who receive the coffee as well. So we love our partnership, and long may it will continue. It certainly will. We love seeing stories, the tangible stories of the eco stoves and the communities and the households that they go into. I think that's one of the key things. Given to charity broadly is a good thing, but when you can actually see the tangible impact on individuals rather than a mass, I think that's really helpful, certainly for us. Obviously, it fits with our own sort of ESG and impact goals you've touched on. But I think, I'd really encourage anybody, if they are thinking of things to do, whether it's just for their own supply, or whether it's to engage with clients or some rewards, or just for your daily coffee. It generally is great coffee. Hannah and the team are superb. Take all the hassle away from things. From a business perspective, when the coffee goes out, it's branded from Hyperion, and we found it really, really pleasurable. However long, a couple of years or so it is that we've been working with you, and the team are always really receptive to the impact reports that you send out. So we'll share details on Kickstart Coffee on the various episode pages, so people can look at the website, but we'll share Hannah's details as well. And it would be great if you could support also the work that she and their team are doing. In conclusion, Hannah, any last thoughts or anything last to share about the work that you're doing, about the organisation, or about how people can support you?
I think just reach out, ask for some samples. Very happy to come and have a conversation online, or I can travel. Once my shoulder gets better, I'll be out and about again. But the number one thing is I love engaging with people. So, once I have conversations and really kind of get people to understand what we're doing, then people, of course, they want to get involved, because everyone loves coffee. Not everyone, but majority of people. And a coffee that does good is just it's a positive for all, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to say, there's decaf as well as fully caffeinated and various different roasts. So whatever is and whether it's ground or beans or various things. So brilliant. So great to share your story and the great work that you're doing. And you certainly have our commitment and support. And hopefully, many more people will get in touch and support the work as well. But thanks for sharing your story very briefly.
Thank you very much.